Good afternoon. My name is Sterling Connolly Chu, and my business is Second Growth Homes. Today we're out in the forest for a just real nice quiet afternoon by myself. I'm just falling and limbing these beautiful second growth spruce trees, like this one you see here beside me. These trees are part of an order we've got for a person who's building a log home for himself and his family up north in Alaska. A total of 80 logs. We're closing in about halfway through this order, so we've still got a ways to go. So if you enjoy this video and you'd like to come out here in the woods with me again, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons below. I had a great morning milling this big, beautiful old growth log with my parents. It's really fun. And that's going to build our aluminum pontoon freight barge. And you'll see that pontoon freight barge build coming up on this channel later this week. So I've just walked out here in the woods, chosen my trees. I got this one here, and then there's one right behind it. They're both going to go straight out this way, about 100 yards exactly away from me. 120 yards is where the excavator was when I stopped yarding day before yesterday. So I can see where I'm going. The excavator will be right there. I have to build a little bit of the road this way, but no problems. So let's go ahead and get the 660 out. 6.6 Magnum Stihl. Let's get the Stihl 6.6 out and start falling some trees here today. It's beautiful. So this is light rain. I was slightly overdressed in fleece since I don't have my rain gear on, so I'm just getting a little heat built up, and then we're just gonna cut and limb here today. Let's go ahead and get started. That's more solid than I thought. Well, yeah, like I said, we're just going for a real nice, mellow, kind of relaxing afternoon out here. I've been around the buzz of the sawmills and all the people today, so super fun morning, but I'm super happy to be out here by myself with you out here in the woods. It's really hard to beat. Just being out here by myself or with the dogs. Take me a while to get used to it. First year was pretty nervous being out here alone. Now it's my favorite place to be. So it's just quiet, it's peaceful. We're in flat country. It's really nice. Gotta get a new liner for my hard hat this year. This is a skull bucket hard hat. I think they're the last company that makes an aluminum hard hat that's still like legit. They're really nice. I've had this for a long time. There we go. Still working. Okay. One, two. Oh, it's gonna be fun. It's about 2:30 p.m. right now. We're gonna cut for about 2 hours. See how we do. 2-3 hours. I'm seeing more trees behind me here. Well, this is gonna be great. Oh, just calming myself down, remembering that I'm in the forest. I think being in the forest is really healthy for you because if you're hunting or watching for bears or anything, there is so much to look at. There's so much information out here, like all around me is just, so much going on. that it really gets your brain out of your body looking at all this stuff, and it's really healthy. It's like a really healthy thing to do. Okay, let's just cut one tree down and we'll keep talking, huh? Take it easy. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So you might notice I carried bear spray. My first, 20-something years in Alaska, since I was a kid, I never liked bear spray, never carried it, ever. I just carry my shotgun 12 gauge or my 450 Marlin lever action, or a different rifle. Last couple years, I've done a lot more of this by myself. I've started carrying the bear spray on me when I can. And, it's just like if I did have an encounter, I would just like to be able to pull it out, give him a little shot in the face, and, say, leave me alone, man. I've always got my gun out here with me in the woods too. So this is like a new addition to my operation, being in the woods out here, but it makes me feel good. A lot about it for me, carrying a weapon, bear protection, bear spray, that's a lot of it about confidence. So it's like, I'm very confident with that 450 Marlin rifle. I've shot a lot of animals with it. It's very powerful. I'm always very accurate at close range with it. So it just gives me a lot of confidence. I've never had to use it my whole life. I was thinking about it yesterday. I could have just not had it and I would have been fine, I guess. But having it gives me confidence. So it's like if that bear comes out, I'm going to look at him like, you better watch out. As opposed to being in the woods naked. It's really funny a feeling, but I always like having my gun with me in the woods. And I probably wouldn't wear this like hiking really, but I've been keeping it with me logging. I don't know, just been feeling like that lately. Okay. I can see a stump over there that I cut last year, and I pulled that tree out with my dad's tractor, first day tractor logging. I'll link that video below, you can check it out. All right, this is a beautiful tree. It's got a little bit of back lean towards me, so it's gonna take a decent amount of wedging. But these spruce trees are super lightweight and super strong, and this isn't even a super big one, so they're really easy to tip over. All right, the Stihl MS-660 Magnum. Oh man, damn it. I flooded it there. That was totally my bad. I bumped that there. Oh, that's too bad. Well, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is when I use the Humboldt cut, and that shows you why I use the Humboldt cut. We wanted the butt of that tree to land flat on the ground right there. We didn't want it to end up broken like this. There's actually a couple other things you can do to make them jump off the hill, jump off the stump and fly downhill and land like that. Well, that'll be another lesson. Thank you so much for coming out here with me today. Really means a lot to me. It's nice, you know, I got someone to talk to, not just out here alone. And it really helps me do this logging out here completely alone. You know, I got my dogs, got my bear spray, got my YouTube camera. Just kind of all meshing together for me really well. So that's cool. I'm gonna go ahead and limb these up. We got 5 beautiful house logs for this guy ready to go, and there's 3 right here, so that's 8. There's another truckload, so I got to come out here for another hour and a half, get 3 more down, and we'll get in the excavator, yard this all out, and I've already got a full 10 log truckload out the road, so just kind of really getting into this job here. It's going well. Let's go ahead and sharpen up, or fuel up, and cut this up. So if you want to learn more about timber falling, if you got any questions, and ask them. You can see in my videos, I do this all day, a lot of days out of the year, and I'm super confident in what I do and the way that I do it. So I learned how to log out of a book, mainly book and experience. So I'm going to link that book below. And then I also learned from just drinking beer with these old, well, not, they'll probably hear me say this, drinking beer with these retired loggers. One of my past girlfriend's families were loggers, and we'd sit around and drink beer, and I'd ask questions, and they'd tell me stuff that I needed to know to keep me alive out here, because they cared about me and they didn't want me to die. Most loggers are like that. You go ask them a question, and you know, most loggers have spent their lives trying to not get hurt in the forest and trying to not hurt anyone in the forest. So if you approach them and you say, hey man, I'm cutting some trees on my property and I'm worried about this and this and this happening, they're going to immediately realize you have no idea what you're doing, and they're going to tell you as best they can what to do. Some of them might even tell you don't do that or don't do it. And you know, listen to them. Seriously. You can go on YouTube and watch people kill themselves logging all day long, basically. Not me. Never hurt myself, man. Never. Never, ever, 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 ever. 20 years of cutting timber out here. Almost 20 years. I started when I was 15 or 16. Right now I'm 33, turning 34. So, and I've done most of it just like this, completely by myself. My dad used to always be with me, but we were pretty independent. And he didn't grow up as a logger. He wasn't a career logger until we basically started together. So I kind of did my own thing, I learned how to be a faller and a shovel logger on my own. Pretty cool. So I just keep looking around and seeing these blue trees, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus these 3 there. It's like there's another truckload here, plus I got here, and there's another truckload right there. So that'll be 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, and I only need 10 total, so we're really looking good. Let's go ahead and get the little saw limbed up, fueled up. Get the little saw fueled up and do a bit more limbing here. This pile of beautiful second growth spruce timber. So this is as eco-friendly as logging gets. These trees are 55 years old, regrown in areas that were previously commercially clear cut. And we are selective cut, no clear cut. You know, I like to think of myself and my dad as like the most eco-friendly loggers you could have. It's like, we love it here. This is my home. I don't think logging has to hurt the environment at all. Like, I really don't. You know, when we started, I knew we could do this kind of work without making a big impact. What I didn't realize was that we would actually be able to have a positive impact on the area that we're logging in a short time, less than a decade, okay? So when I say I've been logging for 20 years, I mean I've been logging right here for 20 years. So I can go out and we can look at places that I cut selectively 20 years ago, cedar forests. You can't tell. The stumps that we cut grew over with moss. The trees around that area exploded with growth. So we cut one big yellow cedar out, boom! All the trees around it exploded with so much growth. The deer are charging in there and feeding on those pockets where we cut those trees, man. And it's like, the forest seems like it's just doing better and better. I could take most of you out there and you wouldn't be able to tell that we'd done anything. This area is a little different. I mean, you're gonna be able to see these stumps, you're gonna see that it's spread out. But if you imagine this, 10 years, every single tree you see is just gonna be absolutely exploding in growth, and there's gonna be new timber, more undergrowth. I mean, just ridiculous. Not in, in 3 years. 10 years, your eyes are gonna be pulled to these trees, because God, they're this big now. They're growing a ½ an inch on either side per year. So that's 1 inch per year. Now that we've thinned them, they're going to be growing more than 1 inch in diameter per year. Okay? That's 10 inches, 12 inches of diameter. All right? From this to this. Okay? This tree plus 12 inches is getting into like, big old growth timber sizing. So this patch of forest is going to be so beautiful. And I am going to come and I'll take you through here in like 10 or 20 years, God willing. And I'm serious, I'll bring you back out here and I'll link this video in 10 or 20 years and we can see it. It's gonna be so cool. Like I said, I've got tons of stands of timber that we logged when I was a kid, and we get to go walk through them. And it's just like, we'll bring the environmentalist groups out there and they'll be looking around like, all right, where's the unit? Because they're used to seeing like logging down south and stuff where it's just waste. And we're like, this is it. It's been a decade. There's a few less big old dying, these big old dying cedars. There's a few less of them. We took them away. But all those branches and all that stuff's still there. We took that big old dying tree out, left this big hole to allow the light into the forest. Boom. Explosive growth, diversity in the forest, okay? It's super diverse. When you log here, log here, log here, leave trees here, and you got diversity. The deer can sleep in the old growth, move through the second growth, eat in the young growth, okay? It's really cool. So you can have a positive impact logging. Conversely, you could make, you have to be so stupid to log in a way that's not eco-friendly. It's like, what? Just stay away from the rivers, like a long ways away. Don't log up above rivers. Don't log anywhere that mud can go into a river, period. There's plenty of land and plenty of timber. It's fine, okay? Don't log clear-cut steep slopes in places where the soil's gonna get washed away, There are places where I think clear-cutting maybe is good. Most of the time, I don't think it is. I think the forest is a lot more resilient than people think. You can take some trees out. Forest doesn't care. It likes it. Okay? I'm telling you, the forest likes it. It's like today, we got some trees down. Every other tree around here, it's bright in the forest, okay? They are loving themselves right now. They're just loving it. When I got in here, I started my day, it was dark. It's dark, Every fern in this area will be 3 to 5 times bigger than the ferns over there in the area we didn't log next year. There's going to be more chance for young trees to start growing in here now. So eventually these spruce trees will die. Spruce tree is not a super long-lived tree. Eventually these are all going to die and this forest will transition to hemlock, like every other forest in Southeast Alaska. The way that we've thinned it lets enough light in that these little hemlock trees can get a start, and they'll be growing up so that once these big spruce trees are starting to rot and fall over, those hemlocks will be here healthy and established in the forest. Whereas right now, this forest is predominantly Sitka spruce and alder. It is it is 95% spruce, just thick. It's crazy. Not a lot of diversity. So I really appreciate you guys coming out here with me today. I love it, and I really like sharing how I think about the woods after 20 years of doing this kind of selective small-scale logging and what I've seen happen and what I've learned. I'm a very open-minded person. I'm smart, I'm inquisitive, and I'm not just listening and believing. It's like I'm looking too. So, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens with extreme environmentalism and extreme logging techniques. It's extreme. It really is. A lot of those ideas are not true. A lot of the things that the extreme loggers think, oh, we need to clear cut everything and let it regrow, it's not true. It is true here in this area, but it's not true in other areas that I can show you where the trees are just like 20 years old and they're like this big. Okay? Same time, some environmentalists are like, man, you can't cut a single tree. No, it's totally fine. You could build little roads through the forest, like little tiny skid roads, and you could just take out big trees anytime they started to look like they were about to die. So if like a tree lost its top, you could take it out of the forest. Those little roads wouldn't hurt anything. The little skid roads through the woods, the forest would be totally fine. Like, forests are resilient and strong where I'm from. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're not resilient and strong everywhere. So I think it's pretty easy for a scientist to say, well, look, this super steep slope should never be cut. Or this super steep slope should only be hyper selectively helicopter logged. So we're not going to tear up the ground or do anything, but we're going to go up there with these specialty guys and these helicopters, and we're going to take some of these big trees that are starting to die. That's cool. Okay? Some areas should never be touched. Other areas like this, it's like, man, this is just gonna, no matter what the heck you do right here, I mean, I'm just telling you, no matter what you did right here, if you clear cut it again, it's just gonna do the same thing. This is an alluvial floodplain, ancient, and it's just perfect tree growing country. It's flat. This dirt ain't going anywhere. The ground just drains down. There's no running water in here. Like, it's just a healthy thing. So I really hope that people can learn more about forests and logging, and a lot of other countries are a lot better at us. Even countries like Russia, a lot of these European countries have been handling their timber very differently than we did in North America, and they've been doing it for a very long time, and, arguably they're doing a lot better than we are. Not better than I'm doing here, but better than these huge clear cuts and the way we just keep stripping the land over and over and over again and growing these tiny little trees. We need to calm down, okay? We need to think about growing timber for long term, and we need to open more land up to timber management. So more little roads that go through the land. I don't believe in this roadless stuff at all, which is really funny. My dad is actually an advocate for the roadless rule in the Tongass National Forest. He goes and he advocates for this thing. I totally disagree with him. I totally disagree with all these people. The more small roads you can have, the more access you can have through this land, the better for everyone. Like, seriously, the better for hunters, the better for timber harvesters like me. The better to be able to go in there and do different things. I'm not saying we should build roads through everything, but it's like the anti-road thing in Alaska is just pure wrong. It is not good. That is not helping anyone. It's not helping anyone. Like, come on. Little skid roads like this through the forest are great. We should have more logging roads. We should maintain more logging roads. People should be outside recreating on those logging roads more. They should be encouraged to get out in nature and get out of the cities and go hunting. They should be encouraged to come out and harvest their own timber. They should be encouraged just to be able to use roads to access areas that we can't get to. And, I am a, super environmentalist. Like, I really, really am. Super environmentalist. Very conservative. Long-term vision. But, the vision of no one can ever go up this valley ever because there's no way to get there. You got to hike through 15 miles of Devil's Club. We can have a little road that allows hunters and trappers and recreators or wildlife viewers, whatever, to get in there. That's totally fine. We don't need to do it everywhere, but, we should be supportive of roads for local people like me that use them for their jobs, like me, for hunting, fishing, everything, It's cool. Scientists that want to come study the forest, they're going to hike through 15 miles of Devil's Club or get, you know, helicoptered in. It's like, let's support small roads and reintegrate with our environment and live in it. You know, let's live here. This is our home. Let's not block it off and never go there like, oh, it's the wilderness. No, we live here. This is where we live. Okay? We can use our home. We should not let it be exploited by commercial interests from people other places, but we should be able to use the resources we have to make money for ourselves and for people that live here so that more people can live here, you know? So I really am hopeful in the coming years that we're going to do more timber management where we're getting out there in the woods, and when a tree gets snapped off or it's going to start to die, we're taking it out, we're turning it into cool stuff, you know? There's a lot of positive things you can do in the forest. So, all right, thanks for listening. Let's get back to work.